The year was 2016. A chilling tale spread like wildfire across the internet, gripping the attention of parents, teenagers, and authorities alike. This wasn't just another viral trend, this was the Blue Whale Challenge. Whispered about in hushed tones, the Blue Whale Challenge was more than just a game. It was a macabre phenomenon. It was blamed for a string of suicides among teenagers, sending shockwaves through communities worldwide. Media reports were quick to paint a grim picture. The Blue Whale Challenge, they claimed, involved a series of increasingly disturbing tasks assigned by anonymous administrators. These tasks, spanning 50 days, ranged from self-harm to sleep deprivation, culminating in the ultimate act of despair, suicide. The Blue Whale Challenge became synonymous with online danger, a stark reminder of the dark side of the digital age. But was the Blue Whale Challenge as sinister and widespread as it seemed? As with many viral sensations, the truth was far more complex than the headlines suggested. This is where our story begins, with a journalist named Evgeny Berg, who dared to delve deeper into the murky waters of the blue whale phenomenon. Evgeny Berg, a seasoned investigative journalist, stumbled upon a news article that sent chills down his spine. The article spoke of clandestine chat rooms on Vkontakte, a popular Russian social media platform where a sinister game called the Blue Whale Challenge was said to be taking place. Yet as Berg delved deeper into the online world of the Blue Whale Challenge, a sense of unease settled upon him. Teenagers, some as young as 14, were said to be participating in this online game that culminated in suicide. Driven by a sense of urgency, Berg embarked on a journey to unravel the mystery behind the Blue Whale Challenge. Amidst the overwhelming sense of despair and the chilling tales of manipulation, Berg found a glimmer of hope. He discovered that while the Blue Whale Challenge was indeed a real phenomenon, its reach and impact were perhaps not as widespread as initially reported. Berg's journalistic instincts told him that there was more to this story than met the eye. The sensationalized headlines and the widespread panic seemed to be fueled more by speculation and fear than by concrete evidence. As Berg continued his investigation, he realized that the Blue Whale Challenge, while a very real and dangerous phenomenon, was also a cautionary tale about the power of the internet and the need for responsible reporting. The story was not just about the victims or the perpetrators, it was also about the role of the media in shaping public perception. In the course of his investigation, Berg came across the story of Sergey Pestov, a Russian father whose world had been shattered by the suicide of his daughter. Pestov, consumed by grief, became convinced that she was a victim of the Blue Whale Challenge. He founded an organization called Saving Children from Cybercrime and became a vocal advocate for internet safety. Sergey Pestov, a man thrust into the heart of a tragedy, became a pivotal figure in the Blue Whale saga. His daughter's death fueled a burning need for answers. Pestov dove headfirst into the world that had seemingly consumed his daughter, the online realm where the Blue Whale Challenge was said to hold sway. His grief morphed into a fierce determination to shield other children from the same fate. Driven by this profound sense of purpose, Pestov channeled his grief into action. He founded Saving Children from Cybercrime, an organization dedicated to exposing the dangers lurking in the digital shadows. His organization quickly became a beacon for parents grappling with the fear of online predators and dangerous online challenges. Saving Children from Cybercrime worked tirelessly to educate parents and children alike about online safety. Pestov's organization, propelled by his personal tragedy, soon garnered media attention. He became a sought-after commentator, his voice adding weight and urgency to the growing concerns about the online challenge. Pestov used his platform to advocate for greater online safety measures and to warn parents about the potential dangers lurking behind seemingly innocuous screens. His influence extended beyond media appearances, shaping public perception of the Blue Whale Challenge. It was within this context, against the backdrop of parental fear and media scrutiny, that a chilling statistic emerged: 130. This number, representing the alleged number of suicides linked to the Blue Whale Challenge in Russia, would become a cornerstone of the narrative surrounding the online phenomenon. It originated, surprisingly, from Sergey Pestov himself. Driven by a desire to quantify the scale of the threat, Pestov had meticulously compiled news reports and online accounts of suicides that he believed were linked to the Blue Whale Challenge. The narrative surrounding the Blue Whale Challenge found fertile ground in the pages of Novaya Gazeta, a Russian independent newspaper known for its investigative journalism. In May 2016, the newspaper published an article titled "Death Groups That Would Propel the Blue Whale Challenge from a Disturbing Online Phenomenon to a Full-Blown Moral Panic." The article quickly went viral, spreading like wildfire across the Russian internet and capturing the attention of international media outlets. At the heart of the Novaya Gazeta article was the now infamous figure of 130. This number, representing the alleged number of suicides linked to the Blue Whale Challenge in Russia, was prominently displayed, etching itself into the minds of readers. The article, citing Sergey Pestov and his organization Saving Children from Cybercrime as its source, presented this figure as evidence of the game's deadly reach. The Blue Whale Challenge, no longer an abstract online threat, had seemingly morphed into a clear and present danger. Section 3. Unraveling the Source. The Novaya Gazeta article had an undeniable impact on public perception. However, as Evgeny Berg delved deeper, he began to uncover cracks in the narrative. Berg decided to trace the origins of the 130 figure that had become so central to the Blue Whale narrative. His investigation led him back to Sergey Pestov, who acknowledged that the figure was a compilation of news reports and online accounts of suicides that he personally believed were linked to the Blue Whale Challenge. Section 4. A Father's Truth, a Journalist's Dilemma. This revelation presented Berg with a dilemma. On one hand, he empathized with Pestov's grief and his unwavering commitment to protecting children. On the other hand, Berg, as a journalist, was bound by a commitment to accuracy and objectivity. The 130 figure, while deeply impactful, was ultimately based on Pestov's personal assessment, not on verified data. Berg recognized the need to present a more nuanced picture of the Blue Whale Challenge, addressing the potential for misinformation and exaggeration. Section 1. A Tangled Web of Fact and Fiction. Evgeny Berg found himself at a crossroads. The Blue Whale Challenge, while undoubtedly a disturbing phenomenon, had become entangled in a web of speculation, fear-mongering, and unverified claims. The 130 figure, originating from Sergey Pestov's heartfelt but ultimately subjective assessment, had taken on a life of its own, shaping public perception and fueling a moral panic. Berg, committed to journalistic integrity, faced the challenging task of disentangling fact from fiction. He delved deeper into the online world where the Blue Whale Challenge was said to thrive, carefully analyzing chat logs, social media posts, and the accounts of individuals claiming to have participated in the game. While there were instances of individuals engaging in self-harm or expressing suicidal thoughts in connection with the Blue Whale Challenge, concrete evidence linking the game to a specific number of deaths remained elusive. As Berg continued his investigation, he began to understand how the Blue Whale Challenge had become a lightning rod for societal anxieties about the internet, teenagers, and the perceived dangers lurking in the digital shadows. The internet, with its ability to connect individuals across vast distances and amplify information at an unprecedented rate, had created an echo chamber where fears could be amplified and misinformation could spread like wildfire. Parents, bombarded with alarming headlines and fueled by their own fears for their children's safety, understandably gravitated towards a narrative that confirmed their worst fears. The media, eager to capitalize on a sensational story, often prioritized click-worthy headlines and emotionally charged narratives over nuanced reporting and verified facts. Berg, in his pursuit of a more balanced and accurate portrayal of the blue whale challenge, recognized the need to move beyond the sensational headlines and delve into the underlying factors that contributed to the phenomenon. He shifted his focus from the alleged body count to exploring the motivations of those who participated in or were drawn to the challenge. Berg's investigation led him to the virtual doorsteps of online communities grappling with issues of depression, anxiety, and social isolation. He discovered that for some vulnerable individuals, the Blue Whale Challenge offered a sense of belonging, a perverse sense of community in a world where they often felt invisible. The more the media reported on the Blue Whale Challenge, the more it seemed to take on a life of its own, inspiring imitators and fueling the very dangers it purported to expose. Section 4. The Human Cost of Misinformation. Evgeny Berg's investigation revealed a complex and nuanced story, one that defied easy categorization or simplistic explanations. He uncovered the human cost of misinformation, the ways in which fear and speculation could create a climate of panic and distrust, overshadowing the very real issues of mental health and online safety that fueled the phenomenon. Section 1. The media's role amplifying whispers into screams. The Blue Whale Challenge, though shrouded in mystery and riddled with inconsistencies, became a global sensation. How did a phenomenon so shrouded in doubt reach such a wide audience? The answer, in no small part, lies in the role of the media. The media, often operating in a fast-paced environment where headlines are currency and sensationalism can overshadow accuracy, played a significant role in shaping the narrative surrounding the Blue Whale Challenge. The initial reports, fueled by a sense of urgency and the very real concern for children's safety, often relied on unverified claims and anecdotal evidence. The media's focus on the most sensational aspects of the story, coupled with the use of alarming headlines and graphic imagery, created a climate of fear and panic. This in turn fueled the media's coverage, creating a feedback loop where fear begat more fear, and the lines between fact and fiction became increasingly blurred. Section 2. Navigating the Digital Age. A shared responsibility. The Blue Whale Challenge, though its true impact remains a subject of debate, serves as a stark reminder of the power and peril of the digital age. It highlights the speed at which information, both accurate and misleading, can spread across the globe, shaping perceptions and influencing behavior. In this era of instant connectivity and 24/7 news cycles, navigating the digital landscape requires a critical eye, a healthy dose of skepticism, and a commitment to seeking out reliable sources of information. The responsibility for combating misinformation does not rest solely on the shoulders of journalists or media organizations. It is a shared responsibility, one that requires parents, educators, policymakers, and individuals to engage in critical thinking, to question what they read and see online, and to be wary of sensationalized stories that prey on fear and anxiety. The Blue Whale Challenge, while undoubtedly a disturbing phenomenon, also presents an opportunity for a broader conversation about online safety, responsible media consumption, and the importance of fostering critical thinking skills in the digital age. Section 1. The Enduring Need for Truth. The Blue Whale Challenge, a chilling tale that gripped the internet and sent shivers down the spines of parents worldwide, ultimately became a cautionary tale about the nature of truth in the digital age. While the game undoubtedly existed and caused real harm, its story became intertwined with misinformation fueled by fear and amplified by the unrelenting churn of the 24/7 news cycle. Evgeny Berg's journey to unravel the truth behind the Blue Whale Challenge stands as a testament to the importance of thorough investigation, responsible reporting, and the need to approach sensational stories with a critical eye. In an era where information spreads at an unprecedented rate, the line between fact and fiction can become blurred, often with devastating consequences. The Blue Whale Challenge serves as a stark reminder that behind every viral headline there are human stories, complex realities, and a responsibility to seek out the truth, even when it is elusive. The need for critical thinking, for verifying information, and for engaging in thoughtful dialogue has never been greater. The Blue Whale Challenge, though unsettling, ultimately underscores the enduring power of truth. A truth that can only be revealed through careful examination, empathy, and an unwavering commitment to seeking out the light amidst the digital shadows.